Welcome to this chapter on what is a medicine and how they work. In this brief session, we'll have a look at what a medicine is and how they function in the body. On a course like this, we've got to start with a simple thing to look at in the first place that's not as simple as it might sound, and that is, what is a medicine? There are lots of commonly used phrases to describe a medicine. These include something to cure a disease, something to treat an illness, and even something to make you feel better. While these are good answers, they're not necessarily giving us the complete definition. This is because these phrases do not include the words prevention or interfering with the functioning of the body. The glossary to the European Union Guide to Good Manufacturing Practice provides a definition for what a medicinal product actually is. The definition is split into two parts. The first part says this: any substance or combination of substances presented for treating or preventing disease in human beings or animals. So this definition, as we can see, covers both the treating and preventing, such as the use of vaccines, as far as medicines are concerned. It also covers the fact that medicines apply to both humans and animals. The second part of the definition gives a much broader indication of what a medicine is. It goes on to say, any substance or combination of substances which may be administered to humans or animals with a view to making a medicinal diagnosis or to restoring, correcting or modifying physiological functions in humans or animals is likewise considered a medicine. Here the term medicinal diagnosis is introduced. This would include, for example, the use of products that are taken by the body to help show up during X-rays. It is also followed by the statement restoring, correcting or modifying physiological functions. This would include other forms of medicine such as the contraceptive pill, pain relief, the use of hormone products and anaesthetic gases. We will look next at how medicines actually work. For now, I just want to highlight the three main modes of drug action. The first is replacing chemicals that are deficient in the body. Here, chemicals are added that are not being obtained by the normal eating or functioning of the body. This includes hormones treatments and the use of vitamins to deal with rickets and scurvy, or even to deal with anemia. The second mode of drug action is interfering with cell function. Here drugs work by affecting the function of individual cells or groups of cells. This includes controlling pain and inflammation and can also cause cells to increase or decrease in their activity. If a medicine increases cell activity, it is called an agonist. And if a medicine reduces cell activity, it is called an antagonist. The third form of drug action is acting against invading organisms or abnormal cells. Here drugs work by treating infection, such as bacterial or fungal infection, as well as in the treatment of cancer. Most medicinal products have their effect through their actions on receptor sites on the surface of body cells. Natural body chemicals, called neurotransmitters, bind to these sites normally, causing a response or a reaction by the cell. Here the body's natural neurotransmitter binds to a receptor site on the cell. This causes the cell to make a response. Agonist drugs mimic the natural neurotransmitters. This produces an enhanced response. If for some reason the neurotransmitter is not being produced in the first place, then the medicine can be used to mimic the normal response. Antagonistic drugs bind to the sites and block the neurotransmitters from binding, getting in their way. This results in reducing the activity of the cell. Taking all medicines is about balancing the risk of taking the product versus the benefits. When taking medicines, they are dispersed around the whole body and are unlikely to only work on a single target area. Medicines may have short-term effects or side effects or side reactions in the body, and sometimes the body just has to learn to deal with that, or the person has to learn to deal with that. This may include dryness of the throat or possible a number of extra visits to the toilet. Sometimes the body just has to learn to live with the byproducts or the side effects of the medicine itself. Other additional medicines can also be administered to counteract negative effects of a particular product. Some medicines produce rapid response in the body, whereas others can take a long time, often weeks or months, for any benefit to be seen. There is also the placebo effect to consider. Here a person can get better because they think they have taken a medicinal product, whereas in fact they have not. Placebo stands for I will please, and this is simulated during clinical trials. Finally, the dosage or strength of the medicine should be considered. This may be through the concentration of the active ingredient in the finished product or the frequency and duration of taking the product. A too high a dose can cause serious health effects or even death. Too low and insufficient treatment may be received. This can obviously have negative effects as well. The dose permitted can vary depending on the recipient of the medicine, and often this may well be reduced in children or the elderly. The dosage of a medicine is determined during clinical trials and early use of the product itself. Two factors are relevant when determining what's called a therapeutic index. The LD50 is the medium lethal dose. That is the amount of the chemical lethal to 1/2 or 50% of the experimental animals exposed to it. The ED50 is the dose required to obtain an effective therapeutic effect in 50% of the population. The calculation for therapeutic index is shown. In theory, the larger the therapeutic index, the greater the margin of safety of the medicine itself.